Hello, welcome to Local Anesthetic Podcast, your regular injection of mind-numbing local news. This is episode 376, and as always, joining us is Rob, and as always, even though it's winter, Rob is wearing a t-shirt. His house must be incredibly warm. I have no idea. I have to say, I do now have the heating on regularly, and fuck it. I mean, there's no other choice now. It's fucking cold, getting cold out there now, mate. Got the winter coat out, all the rest of it.
Yeah, Alex. I mean, look, as I said to you, literally maybe 3 minutes before we started recording, I did actually have my dressing gown on, and before I set up the Zoom link, I ran to the bedroom and changed onto a t-shirt. I thought Alex does need to see that, but yeah, no, it is cold. I think the heating has been on every day. Also, just to dry clothes. I mean, there's 3 people living in this house, and so the washing machine is on most days, and we have to dry items of clothing. We don't have a tumble dryer, which I wouldn't run anyway because obviously it's very energy inefficient, and obviously we're on the run up to Christmas, so I'm hoping that what will happen is once the Christmas tree's up, we'll just turn on the fairy lights and just huddle around the tree for warmth, and make sure everything else is turned off.
What a Rob Cratchit.
Very good.
Listen, I just want to remind all of our listeners now. Now, look, this isn't a telling off because, it's early days, but I just need to remind people. This is about the Patreon. I'm just going to give another announcement. We have, whereas what normally happens with podcasts, isn't it, Rob? They have a Patreon page and they set up a tier, and over time they introduce new, more expensive tiers. We haven't done that. We've gone the opposite way because we really want to help people out. So we had a membership to Patreon where you could get access to our bonus episodes, LAPodcast and Extra Jab. It's been going for about a year. It was £2 a month. Well, thank you so much for all the people who signed up. We know you love doing it. We love doing it too. I mean, and some of the episodes, right, Rob, the episode we recorded last that's going to be going out, will be out by the time you hear this. It was one of our best. I don't know if you've heard it yet, like listen back to it, but it was just extraordinary. Some of those stories.
It is very good. Yeah, it's very good.
Right. But anyway, what we've done to help people out is we've created a new tier that's £1 a month, and we're going to be getting rid of the old £2 tier. The whole point is we're saying this is what we're going to be charging going forward. We really want to help people. It's going to be £1 a month for 2 episodes plus access to all the episodes that are already there, and there are already 35, 36 of them, right? So anybody who's on the existing £2 tier, come Christmas, we said we're going to shutter it. You're going to be kicked out of it. You need to. So maybe people are waiting, Rob, because they've paid for a month, haven't they? Is that what they're doing?
Could that be possible? Yeah,
they're probably working out how best to do it. I hadn't thought of that, so forget the telling off. The point is, whenever it's convenient for you, you need to sign up to the new £1 tier. But what I will say to people is when you sign up for it, and if you're new to Patreon, you just have to join, you go to Patreon, patreon.com/LAPodcast extra. And there you'll see our landing page, and you sign up, you stick in your email, you do everything. And when you join, there'll be an option for how much do you want to pay. So if you want to pay the minimum, which is £1, you can pay that. And that's fine. If you want to pay more, you can. So if you want to contribute £2, £3, £4, £5, £10, £100, anything that you want to do to help us out, you can. It's a bit like, Rob, do you remember when Radiohead released their album? I think it was in Rainbows, and they let people pay what they want. Remember that?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, it was on, I think it was on SoundCloud, I believe. Yeah. Yeah,
there was a minimum that you had to pay, which is the same here. So £1 a month is the minimum. If you want to pay that, no problems, boss. You're going to get access to everything, plus all the episodes of Daft Talk that are up there as well, our other podcast that we did for a while. So it really is incredible value, but do switch over to the new tier at your convenience. And as I said, if you want to just pay £1 at the moment, we are happy with that, and that's going to be, indefinite. So Rob, on with the podcast. Is there any news?
Just one thing I wanted to feature, Alex. It's not really news from listeners, but I just wanted to make people aware of it. It's a quick story from the Manchester Evening News. So Britannia ranked UK's worst chain for 10th year in a row. So this is obviously the Britannia Group, which owns Pontins. So Britannia's been ranked the UK's worst cinema chain, hotel chain for the 10th year in a row. The company's hotels just rated 2 stars out of 5 for categories such as cleanliness, bed comfort and value for money in the annual survey. I did actually read the story. I don't think I featured on the podcast. So the MEN, the Manchester Evening News.
What else do they own, Rob?
Well, they own 61 different hotels across the UK.
Bloody hell, that's a lot. 61 chains.
we're still 61 hotels.
Oh, right.
So that's not including Pontins. This is actually separate hotels. So, for instance, they mentioned that they actually own 2 in Manchester, one of which is notorious. It's actually called the Britannia. And they mentioned one of the stories where they sent a reporter to stay there. And she paid £299 for a room with no window, which is frankly astonishing.
Listen, Rob, I think there's something deeply ironic about the fact that the name of this company is Britannia. Are they like a metaphor for Britain itself, Rob?
Oh God, yeah, could. Well, Alex, let me just read this next quote, and I think it may be quite fitting. So, guests who stayed at the Britannia chain described the surroundings as tired and tatty with a rough and ready feel. That feels like the UK at the moment, doesn't it?
What about an episode titled "Tired and Tatty with a Rough and Ready Feel"?
Yeah, absolutely. Can I just finish off with just
not a euphemism?
No. With a quote from Guy Hobbs, who's the editor of Which magazine, who said, "With a decade of dismal review cementing its place as the UK's worst hotel chain, our results suggest that Britannia should be avoided at all costs." So, I mean, yeah. Look, Alex. Again, it begs the question: if this company is responsible for Pontins, if they're actual hotel chains who charge apparently £299 for a single room, and they still come bottom of any hotel rankings, why on earth would you fucking stay at Pontins when you can pay like 60 quid for a night?
Well, it's a good question, Rob. I just wanted to say kind of related to this in a way, is I really enjoyed the story about Nigel Farage this week, or Nigel Farage, however you want to say his name, because apparently on YouTube you'll regularly be assaulted by adverts of Nigel Farage offering, you pay him basically to sign up to some newsletter where he gives you financial advice about what stocks and shares to invest in, because obviously, as he always goes on about, he used to work in investments and this is his expertise. But apparently if you'd have followed his advice over the last 2 years, you would have lost about, I don't know, it's about, if you, with £100,000, if you'd invested that, you'd have lost about £10,000-20,000 compared to just sticking it in some regular tracker where you would have made money. So I'm just saying that, that amused me.
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, Alex, look, all his predictions on Brexit are coming. Oh no, they're not coming to fruition. They're doing quite the opposite in terms of Brexit was actually a bad idea.
Let it go, Rob. Right, let's start with because we are fast approaching Christmas, Rob. Let's go to the News Shopper. It's been a long time, Rob, that I've covered a story from the News Shopper. 26th of November. It's by Andrew Smart. He's called an SEO journalist. What does SEO stand for? Super Executive Officer?
I'd love to say it was, but I think it's search engine optimization, which is a lot less glamorous.
But what?
It means that you're basically if someone is searching for your brand, it means that it comes up higher in the list of results on Google. That's all it means.
But then what's an SEO journalist?
I don't know. Maybe he inserts keywords into articles. He takes the meaningless articles from junior reporters and just sticks keywords into there so that they could be found a lot easier. Maybe that's what it is. I could be completely wrong, Alex. But
no, you're right. It's to do with search engine optimization, and it's a crucial skill for journalists.
Right.
So basically, I get the feeling that means he searches the internet for stories and then republishes them. A bit like what we do, Rob.
Oh God,
isn't that what we do?
Absolutely, Alex.
We're SEOs.
I mean, Alex, I feel that, as we know, a lot of papers are owned by the Reach Group, and they are notorious for basically lifting and shifting stories from other regional titles, and then we just, read the stories verbatim. So I think that's absolutely fine. They've already done it. We're just reporting it.
Right. Headline: Christmas. Let's put on some music. Christmas music, obviously. Is that getting you in the spirit, Rob? Is that warming your cockles?
It certainly is, Alex. And then trust me, they're frozen at the moment.
Christmas hit songs. Experts reveal the most fatal to drive to. Oh, so it's a bit morbid, but we'll still keep Christmas music. Yeah.
What? Okay.
With Christmas fast approaching and December just around the corner, it may be tempting to crank up the volume to some festive tunes while driving home for Christmas. However, experts have warned Rob that some songs may be more dangerous to drive to than others. With so many Christmas number one songs to choose from, here are the most dangerous to drive to this December. Right.
Okay.
So basically, Rob, the Irish car insurance experts over at Chill have kindly worked out the most dangerous hits Christmas songs to drive to this holiday season.
Sorry. I don't mean to sound disparaging of the Irish car insurance experts over at Chill. I've never heard of this company, Alex.
Chill, man. Chill.
Right. Okay. It's not the RA, not the RAC, not the AA. Chill car insurance.
So this is a science behind it, Rob. They analysed the BPM, or beats per minute, of chart-topping Irish and UK songs. According to research, the higher the beats per minute of a song is, the higher the risk posed to driving. So basically, if you're listening to some hardcore, high-tempo drum and bass, Rob, in the car, you're more likely to have an accident than if you're listening to a very slow sort of ballad.
That's interesting. Okay, I can understand the rationale behind that.
Right, let's do countdown. Christmas countdown. I've always wanted to do that. Christmas countdown, Rob. We're going from 15 to 1. Here are the most dangerous Christmas songs to listen to while out driving. Number 15.
Sorry.
Thank you. Mistletoe and Wine, Cliff Richard, which is 135 beats per minute.
Right.
Now, I think listening to Mistletoe and Wine is potentially fatal whether you're in a car or not.
Yeah, it can really turn you to the dark side. Yeah.
In at number 14, there's No One Quite Like Grandma by St Winifred School Choir, 136 beats per minute.
What?
That famous Christmas song. There's nobody. Rob, it's one of my favourite Christmas songs. There's no one quite like Grandma. Doesn't it go like that? I think. I've never heard of it.
I mean, Alex, if they're going to do this chart, don't make songs up. I mean, that's not fair.
Maybe it's well known in Ireland.
Maybe, yeah.
In at number 13, Goodbye by the Spice Girls, 136 beats per minute. That would be tragic if you died in a car crash while listening to Goodbye by Spice Girls, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, it'd be ironic if nothing else.
At number 12, Earth Song by Michael Jackson, 138 beats per minute. Of course, legendary.
Yeah, well, I think I'm about to say the same thing. Yeah, a very famous Christmas song, apparently.
Right, so first of all, Rob, I wasn't going to say that, but you're right. I think it was released around then, but it's not a Christmas song by any stretch of the imagination, is it?
No, I mean, it's literally a song about the destruction of the planet. I mean, there's nothing Christmassy about it.
And at 11, Can We Fix It by Bob the Builder, 150 BPM. I mean, it was a Christmas number one, though, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Can we fix it? I think it is. And in at number 10, We Built This City by Lad Baby, so 142 beats per minute. So that's We Built This City. Is that it? We built this city on rock and roll. Is that by Lad Baby?
No, Alex. No. Hang on. You're getting confused. Their song is We Built This City on Sausage Rolls. That's their song. The original by Journey was... Oh, no, sorry.
That's it.
Sorry. Was it Starship? Who did the original song? I think
Starship did... and we can build this dream together. Na na da 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 da. Nothing's gonna stop us now. City.
Yeah, you are right. I might have to look that up, Alex, but carry on.
Well, no, Rob, because due to my powers as an SEO, We Built This City is by... Oh my God, Rob, it was by Starship as well. Rob needs...
Yes!
But it's I did not know that. Wow.
Back of the net.
Starship, man. Also, what a great name they had. I used to love... Anyway. In at number 9, Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen, 144 BPM.
Right. Sorry, Alex.
Christmas. Mama just killed a man.
Put a gun against his head.
Yeah.
Poured my sugar, now he's dead.
Yeah. In at number 8, Two Become One by the Spice Girls, 144 BPM. Can I just say, I find it amazing that there's that Spice Girls feature twice on this list.
Yeah, I agree. But also, can I just go back to the Queen song? The Queen did actually release a Christmas single.
Yeah.
Which isn't... and look, carry on.
Right. In at number 7, I Love You by Cliff Richard and the Shadows, 151 BPM. And I'm sorry to say, Robin, at number 6, Saviour's Day by Cliff Richard, 155 BPM, which means he's 3 times on this list, which means statistically and as pure science, you're more likely to die whilst listening to Cliff Richard than any other artist in a car.
Well, I've always suspected it, Alex. I just want to say that I actually quite like Saviour's Day.
Okay, can I just say, Rob, that this is actually my favourite Christmas song of all time, so I'm really pleased it appeared here. In at number 5 with 164 beats per minute is Sound of the Underground by Girls Aloud. That always gets me in the mood, Rob, every time. Sound of the Underground.
Sorry, Alex. So where's things like, I don't know, Do They Know It's Christmas? Where's Wizard? Where's where's Mariah Carey?
They're not high tempo enough, Rob. Number 4, okay. Mr. Blobby by Mr. Blobby, 167 beats per minute.
Right. Is someone
they've called them hit Christmas songs. If you bought a Christmas album, now it's Christmas 26, and you got these 15 songs on it, you'd be like, what the fuck? And at number 3, Mad World by Michael Andrews and Gary Jules, 174 beats per minute. Okay. And then at number 2, Hallelujah by Alexandra Burke, 183 beats per minute. Because of course none of the previous versions, Rob, of Hallelujah count because she made the original, Rob. And at number 1, you'll be pleased to hear...
Not the seminal Leonard Cohen version of Hallelujah, nothing like that, but that's fine.
Rob, Alexandra Burke's is superior in every single way. In at number 1...
Of course, yeah.
Leonard Cohen's is dreary, and Jeff Buckley's is just, It's
that high voice, Alex, that puts everyone off. Yeah.
And at number 1, Rob, you'll be pleased to hear, is a Christmas song. It's Merry Christmas, Everyone by Shakin' Stevens. BPM 203 beats per minute. Shakin' Stevens' hit song, Merry Christmas, Everyone, frequently enters the charts around Christmas time and is a fast-paced tune that may pose a risk to drivers. This journalist is going to win awards, Rob, I tell you.
This journalist has obviously started on the egg log very early this year because that list was absolutely insane.
Lord Melody just says, more of thou shalt never enjoy driving. Nonsense! And I think, Rob, that's referring to the anti-motorist nanny state that we live in. Right, Rob.
Absolutely.
Let's move now to another local paper, the Daily Record, which I believe is a Scottish paper. Isn't it? The Daily Record, isn't that? No, yeah, it says...
Yeah, it is. It is.
By Joseph Draper from the 14th of November 2022. Headline, former Royal Navy engineer discovers, in quotes, deafness was due to an earbud stuck in his ear for 5 years.
Okay. Now, there's obviously been this this ongoing debate about whether you should remove earwax with cotton buds or, if you live in the US, Q-tips.
No, there is no debate about it. You shouldn't be doing that.
Well, yeah, because obviously you can damage your eardrum. You can even perforate it in worst case scenarios.
It's just a finger. Shove your little finger in there, it's right, and then twist it around, scoop.
I just find that maybe if you use a high pressure hose, really jab it in there, it'll take everything out.
That is basically what syringing is, though, to be honest, although it's not hose, obviously.
Yeah, true.
Story. A former Royal Navy engineer who you'd think would have some degree of intellect has had his hearing restored after discovering part of an old earbud had been stuck in his ear for 5 years. Wallace Lee, 66, thought that suddenly going partially deaf was due to a career of working with helicopter engines, which, to be fair, you might think. The keen golfer, nice detail, also suffered a loss of balance which affected his game. Even when he developed an infection in his left ear, his GP couldn't find anything wrong due to the build-up of wax and prescribed him antibiotics. Oh, what a testament that is to our wonderful GPs. I know many of you are doing a good job, but I'm afraid some of you. My God! Oh, you got to build up a wax. Let's not remove that and find out what's going on, but here's some antibiotics. When is it anyway, doesn't matter. Wallace from Kirkintilloch near Glasgow tried eardrops and warm water fired from a syringe for relief, but nothing worked. It wasn't until he bought his own mobile endoscope, which sent a live video from inside his ear canal to his mobile phone via Bluetooth, did he realise there was a foreign object there. My God, Rob, he did what the NHS didn't.
Alex, can I just say that what a great Christmas present as well. Here you are, darling, I bought you a mobile endoscope. Enjoy.
I'd welcome that. It's practical, Rob.
Yeah,
a hospital ear, nose and throat doctor removed the 1 centimetre long plastic insert to an earbud using tweezers.
Oh, God.
The plastic part had been there since Wallace put ear defenders in during a flight to Australia, helicopter flight in 2017, I assume. He believes that when he pulled the soft rubber bud out of his ear at the end of the flight, he became detached from the plastic insert without him noticing. As soon as it was removed from his ear canal, he instantly regained full hearing and balance. Wow.
I mean, that must have been quite... can you just imagine that as an experience? That must have been quite mind-blowing, actually, to realise that suddenly the hearing picks up again and suddenly you just feel grounded, for want of a better word.
The next sentence is a bit confusing. Wallace, who now lives with his wife Jeanette in Weymouth, Dorset. What does it mean, who now lives with his wife? Did he... So it's like were they separated and they've got back together? What are they alluding to?
I think that Alex was using the RAF. He might have moved around a lot, so maybe they. But you've already mentioned that he used to live in a small town outside Glasgow. So maybe he's retired and moved to the lovely town of Dorset. Weymouth.
All I'm saying, Rob, is the sentence would have worked with Wallace, who lives with his wife Jeanette in Weymouth, Dorset. Didn't need the now in there.
Yeah, good point.
Said, it has felt as though my head was full of cotton wool. As soon as this piece of plastic came out with a pop, I could hear perfectly again. Feels like I have a new lease of life. It's definitely affected the balance, which probably did make me worse and impact my golf. I used to be a fairly reasonable golfer, but over the past years, my handicap has crept up and up. But since I returned to normal, I've played really well. My wife is very relieved. She was convinced I was going deaf. Wallace spent 24 years working with helicopters in the Royal Navy's Fleet Air Arm and believed being in close proximity to noisy engines had caused him to lose his hearing. He said, I was beginning to believe I was going deaf. My wife had been telling me for ages. I kept pushing it to the back of my mind and saying, oh, you're mumbling. Stop mumbling. Oh, right. So that's what he's saying to his wife. I'm not deaf. You're mumbling. But good to know, Rob, that if you are thinking of going into a career working with helicopters, according to this, there is no risk to your hearing whatsoever.
Good to know.
Comments. Greetinmo says, how could he forget what was in his ear? This is a load of rubbish. Scott Free says he was an engineer too. Briggin says, yes, a simple stringing would have solved it. More non-used. Glad I don't purchase the paper anymore. And G-Tree says, so his doctor couldn't see it, but saw a build-up of wax and prescribed antibiotics. What kind of antibiotics get rid of earwax? And surely a simple syringing would have cleared it up. I presume his doctor has been struck off for being incompetent.
I mean, there's some truth in that.
Rob, would you allow me to finish now with a test? It's from the...
Please do.
Wales Online. It's by Stefan Rees. By 26th November 2022. Some distant cousin of yours, no doubt, Rob. Now, the reason I'm doing this story, Rob, is we uncovered a while ago your Welsh heritage. But how British are you, Rob? You know? So I'm giving you the UK citizenship test. 10 questions to find out how much you know, Rob. Prove you're British, because a lot of people write to us, Rob, and say, Rob feels like if he doesn't like living here, why doesn't he just leave? Because some of you views, Rob, are very British.
Well, Alex, I'll be the first to admit that I haven't always backed Britain. You know, I haven't been selling UK PLC to the best of my ability. So let's see how I get on.
Right, here goes. Question 1. Which territory is not part of Great Britain? England, Scotland, Wales, or Northern Ireland?
Is not part of Great Britain. I'm going to say Northern Ireland.
Correct. So you do know.
Yes.
Well done. Now, for any of our international listeners, that really confused me as well. So the United Kingdom, Northern Ireland is part of it. So Great Britain, which I just thought was another name for the United Kingdom, is it not then, Rob? Are they different? Is Great Britain different than the...
They are different. And there's another collective term that also includes Ireland as well. And it gets really confusing because you've got United Kingdom, you've got Great Britain, and there's something else. Anyway.
Question 2. Who was the Prime Minister when the National Health Service was founded? Thatcher, Attlee, Churchill, or Macmillan?
Oh, Attlee.
Correct. At the beginning of the 19th century, who had the right to vote? Men and women over 21. Only men over 21 with a certain amount of property. Only men over 21. Only men or women with a certain amount of property. This is in the 19th century.
Well, the suffrage movement was in I think 1910s.
We're just looking for an answer.
Okay. I'm going to say, is it men? What were the men options?
Men over 21 with a certain amount of property, or only men over 21?
Only men over 21.
Wrong. Only men over 21 with a certain amount of property, which, to be honest, Rob, is how it should have remained. We'd be in a lot less difficulty in life if that was still the case. Question 4. When is St. David's Day? I've never heard of it. 1st of March, 15th of March, 1st of April, 30th of October. What kind of fucking question is this to ask some poor person who's come over here? What the fuck is St. David's Day?
Alex, what do you mean? Sorry.
I know what St. Andrew's Day is. I know what St. George's Day is.
St. David's Day is the patron saint of Wales. He's literally buried in St. David's in Wales.
Well, that's why it's important to you, but not to me. Okay, so what day is it? It
is March. It's March. I think it is the... Was it, did you say the 21st of March?
No, 1st or the 15th. Choose one.
15th.
Yeah, because the 1st of March, of course, Rob, is May Day. Wrong. It's the 1st of March, May Day. Yeah.
Oh, bollocks.
What percentage of the UK population lives in Northern Ireland? 1%? 3%? 5% or 7? 5?
Oh, 3%. 3%.
Correct. Good guess.
Oh, good. Okay.
What does bonfire night mark? The beginning of winter. The Festival of Lights. A failed attempt to blow up the Houses of Parliament. A failed attempt to blow up the Tower of London.
A failed attempt to blow up the Houses of Parliament, Alex.
And then, to be fair, you would have been with that rabble back in the day, Rob. Who built the Tower of London?
I still am, Alex. I'll do it again.
Who built the? Well, I hope the security services, services are listening. Who built the Tower of London? I don't know this. William the Conqueror, Queen Victoria, Queen Elizabeth I, or Oliver Cromwell? Maybe I do. I'm gonna guess. What is it?
William the Conqueror.
Oh, is it? If you are a resident of the UK, who must your vehicle be registered with? The HMRC, the EU, the DVLA, the local police.
The DVLA, Alex.
The Scottish Parliament made Roman Catholic service illegal in, I didn't know this, 1540, 1550, 1560 or 1570.
Well, that's when the Protestants, Prophets Reform came in. I'm going to say 1570. I think it might be 1560.
It is 1560. What title is given to the person who is the ceremonial leader of a local council? The High Councillor, the Mayor, the Chief Councillor, the Council Speaker. I don't know this.
The Mayor, Alex.
Correct. Sign up for our free newsletters.
No thanks.
So hang on. Do you want no? Get tips, news, receive news.
Do you have to sign into the newsletter to get the results?
No, now I need to do a capture. Hang on 1 second. I've got to pick all the ones with boats in them. You have a decent attempt, but sadly you did not pass, Rob, so you're not eligible to be a citizen of the UK. Yes, 7 out of 10. That is literally, you have failed. You're not British. I knew it! All this time. Comments. I'm really upset about it. To be honest, Rob, I think whoever you work for should reevaluate your position and probably let you go. Marianne said, right. Stupid question. Should be questions about relative stuff. What is illegal? Legal? Name 5 stadiums. What is the capital of? Who's the mayor of? That sort of thing. Marianne again says, I got 7 and I guessed 3. David Oz says, been away too long, 4 out of 10. Sherman Clump says, 5k jump on dinghy in France, 10 out of 10. I just...
Nonsense. Absolute nonsense.
Drips Fart says, I got 7 correct. Emperor Drippy will have me sent to the gallows in back garden. Okay. LaRoche says, would somebody fail because they don't know when Scotland banned the Church of Rome, or what percentage of UK citizens make up Northern Ireland? Be serious. By the way, they spelled serious wrong. Ems36 says, I failed. Please deport me to a country that has sunshine and a fair cost of living.
I hear that Rwanda's lovely at this time of year.
Well, it's funny enough, Marianne says, Rwanda, pack your bags.
Yeah. Lovely way to finish.
Okay, Rob, you got a story for us there.
Well, Alex, I'm going to do something on this podcast we've never done before. I'm going to feature 2 stories by the same journalist because I feel that we have a duty on this podcast to highlight the creme de la creme of local journalism, and I feel the next 2 stories really epitomise that.
Okay.
So they're both from the Surrey Live, and as I said, they're by the same journalist. So I'd like to introduce you to the world of Dave Bradshaw. So,
good name.
Yeah.
Dave Bradshaw. DDB.
It is just Dave Bradshaw, but obviously his full name is David Bradshaw, but he likes to refer to as Dave. So, so
his name isn't Dave Bradshaw. That'd be a great name.
Be
just
weird.
the same
that
name.
Would be weird.
Robert Davis.
Yeah, exactly. So the first story is from the 17th of September. The headline is Twix junkie spends £300 every year to feed habit and won't give up. Now,
fucking hell. Twix junkie. That's a good term. I want to be a Twix junkie.
Yeah. The weird thing about this story is, Alex, that this is him. It's a story about him and his addiction to Twixes.
Is the other story a related follow-up story? Like,
no, but
no,
right.
That's a shame.
You're
okay.
Just strap in.
All right.
So,
okay.
Every day since I've worked at the Surrey Live, I've suddenly announced at 3 p.m. that I need my break because I'm going to get a Twix To be honest, I hadn't really thought about it.
Is this the first time we've ever featured the Surrey live?
It could be, actually, yeah. We must have done before.
You need to follow this journalist, Rob. So at 3 p.m, a Twix break. I'm surprised he doesn't have one like at around 10, 11, because you get 2 fingers, don't you? You could have one in the morning, one in the afternoon.
Yeah, and then go and buy your chocolate bar. No, Alex, I understand. Sorry, I understand at 3 p.m. is about right because it's after lunch and it's the point where I normally in my working day make a cup of tea, and this feels like the right time.
Do you have a snack, Rob? Do you have a snack then?
I do. Yeah, I have maybe a biscuit or possibly a cereal bar, something along those lines. Yeah,
not a chocolate bar.
Maybe it feels not a topic. Who eats topics these days?
When's the last time you used a vending machine, Rob?
Slightly bleak answer to this. When Lara was in hospital, Alex, a few weeks back.
Lara is okay, we should say.
She's fine. She is fine. But
what did you get from the vending machine?
Well, it was about 4:00 in the morning, and I think I purchased a bottle of Coke and a Twix. No, it wasn't a Twix. Sorry, it was a Kit Kat.
And did Lara enjoy it?
Well, it was actually like Lara was asleep. It was for Sarah and I.
That was a joke.
We had.
I don't think you're giving your child your 2-year-old Coca-Cola. Maybe you are. Little sip.
No, maybe. Would that be irresponsible? Hello. Right. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Right. So, to be honest, I hadn't really thought anything about it, but one day my editor sat me down and said with a completely straight face, "I think you may have a problem." My first reaction was total denial. I loudly complained of how it was perfectly normal to have a mid-afternoon snack, and it was outrageous of him to suggest anything unusual about someone having one every day. Okay, he said, but how much does it cost over the course of a year? I reached for my calculator and figured it out. I get the Twix Extra or King size for those familiar with the old-school chocolate bar lingo, because only a chump buys the regular ones, when the difference in the price is so small. It cost me a mere 85p per day from my local Tesco, which, if multiplied by 365 days, comes to a measly
fucking hell
£310 per year.
If he that's not bad. If he enjoys it, he enjoys it.
Yes, but Alex, then he says, next came the anger. £310 could buy me a round trip to New York or pay for a year's Sky subscription. Or goodness knows how many curly whirlies.
Let's just get something straight.
Yeah.
Whatever £305 that you reckon you could get a Sky subscription for, you're not going to be getting much for that. I wouldn't have thought. Well, that
number 2. That's just Sky Sports.
What round trip to New York?
Yeah, apparently so. Yeah,
by boat. I've never seen a trip to New York that. I think you'll find that prices to fly to America are fucking high. Anyway.
I think on a very, very cheap bargain flight. Somehow this alluring temptress of a chocolate bar had me fooled with this flawless combination of sumptuous caramel and satisfying crunchy biscuit. It was more flavourful than a Mars bar, less filling than a Snickers, and made the very existence of a bounty seem pointless. But it had used...
Can I just say, Rob? Sorry, Rob, can I just say, I like this journalist so far because what he's doing is tongue-in-cheek and he can actually write well. Yeah. He's telling a story. Yeah. And he's actually good at what he does. Maybe this guy's going to go far, Rob.
Well,
let's follow him.
The commenters seem to be very on board with him. So, soon enough, I was on to the next stage of processing the information, bargaining. I initially told myself that everything was fine and I could put a stop to my daily Twix fix whenever I wanted. But then the devil on the shoulder chirped up. Was it really necessary to go cold turkey? Maybe I could just buy a Twix every 2 days and eat 1 finger per day. Or perhaps we could go on a break and I could try some Watsits or Mint Aeros to see if they give me the same buzz. Oh God, who was I kidding? I don't even have the willpower to buy a piece of fruit if there's a Twix in the house. Every week I buy a bunch of bananas with grand intentions of turning a new, healthier leaf with my dessert habits. And then, 5 days later, I swat away all the empty Twix wrappers around the fruit bowl, pick up the spotty bananas, and grudgingly eat at least a couple of them before they turn brown, promising all the while that I'd do better next time. Finally came acceptance. I'm now at peace with the fact that writing this article has not helped me to cure my dependence on Twix to get me through the mid-afternoon lull, as my therapist might have suggested. I'm at peace with the fact that I can't bring you a success story about how I conquered my cravings and saved loads of money at a time when we could all do with a few extra quid. Most of all, I'm at peace with the fact that I really like eating a Twix. It is the undisputed champion of chocolate bars and biscuits, and I'm not ashamed to be one of the most loyal fans Long live Twix. This is not a sponsored article, by the way. This is just his. This is an opinion piece.
No, if you work for Twix, so which I think is owned by, is it Nestle or Mars?
I think it's Mars. Actually,
I don't think you would know.
I think it is Mars. Yeah.
I feel like they're going to be happy with this story.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people read it, but we've got it out to a lot of people. So Twix have inadvertently, Rob, vicariously got a lot of advertising on Local Anaesthetic this week. So this week, Local Anaesthetic podcast is sponsored by Twix. So because sometimes one finger is never enough.
Exactly. Yeah. I couldn't put it better myself, Alex. Now, it was the comment then led me on to the second story. So a commenter who goes by the very, very good name of Slurry Live just simply put in the comment section, yes, he does have a problem. Well, several. One being disclosed in this article, the next is visiting and rating random public toilets, and the other is visiting zero-rated filthy takeaways.
Fuck off, does he visit? Oh my God, he's one of those. He's been sent on those jobs, poor guy. Oh my God. So this is, we've featured some stuff over the years from local journalists, but visiting can you imagine being given that? We want you to visit public toilets and rate them.
Alex, do you want to hear the story?
Yeah. Oh my sweet Lord. Well, it's funny because they are related, aren't they? One is, I'm just thinking a Twix and a public toilet. I can see a link, which is something brown and sort of tubular.
Let's leave that there. So so
talking about shit, Rob.
Yeah, so there was two stories that he covered. Yeah, one was rating the public conveniences of Guildford, and the second was basically, and the second was rated was basically visiting zero-rated takeaways and eating from them. So,
why would you do that?
Well, just to try them out.
Is there a picture of this man anywhere? Because with his everyday Twix,
oh God, Alex,
and then eating this, is he a large man?
I think you need this. Right, just don't read the story. I'm going to give you the headline because there's a nice picture of him doing like a disgusted face outside a public toilet. So if you can Google, I went to find Guildford's best public toilets, and now my dreams will forever be haunted.
Oh, Rob. I might need a CEO refresher to look this story up. How do I do it? If I go to Google, what am I searching for?
If you search for Google best public toilets and maybe David Bradshaw.
Yep, got it. Am I allowed to open it?
You can open it. Yeah, just look at the first image you come to.
He's different than I expected. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, this man is eating 365 Twixes a year, Alex. So
that is a lot.
Right. I'll read the intro to the story, but then I'm going to ask you to pick one of the toilets he's rated, because it would be too long to do all of them. But look, just to give you the intro. I don't know what I expected when I decided to get into journalism. I think I assumed I'd be reporting from the red carpet, movie premieres, being wined and dined at Michelin-starred restaurants that I was going to view, or flying first class with the royal family to cover their diplomatic trips to far-flung corners of the globe. Whatever I was expecting, it wasn't this. When my editor told me I was being sent to Guildford to review public toilets, my first reaction was that I'd obviously upset the wrong person somehow in the Surrey Live newsroom. But slowly, as I started to think about the assignment, I realised it was actually a compliment rather than an insult. Telling people where they can go to spend a penny in our own country is actually public service journalism of the finest order. I should embrace it.
Can I say, is there any way, Rob, that you can tweet or email this guy and tell him that we featured him on the podcast? I think we should.
He's got a Twitter
because I think he's a kind of... Yeah, why don't you do that? Because I think he's the kind of guy that would appreciate this podcast. I think he's got our kind of sense of humour.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely. I actually think he'd appreciate it, and it would probably help keep him sane, being able to listen to this podcast and hear what other local news journalists get up to.
Yeah, okay, I will do that.
Yeah, let's do that. I think it would be nice, yeah.
So, an hour later, I found myself stepping off the train at Guildford Station, having carefully researched 10 target sites that I would review without fear or favour. I wanted to know the essentials. Do the cubicles lock? Is there toilet paper? Does the seat look like you'll catch a fatal disease if any part of your skin comes in contact with it? Armed with my list of criteria, I began my quest with a plan to give everywhere I visited a score out of 5, with a score of 0 denoting something akin to a medieval cesspit or the long drop toilets at Glastonbury. Meanwhile, the top score of the 5 would be awarded to facilities so luxurious that you would journey into town.
You could eat your dinner off them.
Exactly.
You could eat your dinner off that Lucy. Yeah.
So, Alex, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh God, there are 10 reviews I'll take. Well, look.
So shall I pick a number from 1 to 10?
Yeah, or I can tell you where they are if that would be helpful.
No, I'm just going to pick a number from 1 to 10.
Okay.
Number 7.
7, 4, 5, 6. So then this is Marks and Spencer, Alex, in Guildford.
Ah.
Not far from Starbucks is one of the few shops in the town centre that has customer toilets. And to be honest, I had high hopes here. The Marks and Spencer's brand is associated with a certain amount of class, and on site, its toilets didn't disappoint. The decor was like you would find it in the bathrooms at a posh hotel. Both the cubicles locked without a problem. But then I saw it. A massive skid mark in the bowl, just like that, in the blink of an eye. Its hopes of a perfect score had been decimated. Rating 4 out of 5. Would you like another review?
I'd like a review of a bad one.
Well,
give me a 0.
There is a 0, then that would be the Bedford Road car park.
We should just say well done to Marks and Spencer's.
Yeah.
Well done.
So, one of the many sources in my vast contact book had told me that there was a particularly gross toilet inside the multi-storey car park in Bedford Road. It turned out the source was widely unreliable. The toilet was one of 3 that Guildford Borough Council closed in April after public consultation that frankly could have done with expert input of a journalist who had completed the kind of tour I was about to finish. So, I mean, that's a bit unfair, Alex, because of obviously the bathroom had closed. But let me just read you a 1 star. Let me find that. So this is from the G Live car park. This was something of an enigma. It's another council facility and looks quite modern from the outside. Its inside looks fine too. There's only 1 cubicle, but it was clean enough. Unfortunately, the smell was almost unbearable. It wasn't just urine. It was stale, as if someone had forgotten to flush. And then the place had been sealed for several hundred years until I found my way into I found my way in like a Lara Croft breaking into an ancient tomb. As I say, it looks nice enough, so you have no idea where the smell came from. But if I hung around to figure out that, I might have died. Rating 1 out of 5.
From the impression I'm getting, I'm getting the impression that Guildford's public toilets, are overall okay, because I think, even that in London would be like a 3 or 4 out of 5. You want to see a 0 out of 5 over here, mate. I mean, Yeah,
I've been in some places that, in a supposed first world country, beggars belief.
Do you remember those toilets? I mean, I'm sure they're still around, but you would see in town centres. You don't see as many of them now, but they'd have that. They'd sort of be these freestanding things, and you'd press a button, and the door would slide open, and you'd go in, and when you leave, the door would close, and the whole thing would be doused and disinfected.
Yes.
Like hot bleach and stuff like that. But people have got the doors have got confused a number of times, and people have got shut in them, and then they'd been doused with all the chemicals. Yeah.
Well, there's also the famous urinals in Soho, which rise from the street, and they're basically urinals that are completely exposed to the elements. It's for men. Obviously, they just stand inward, and there's a urinal, but there's no shielding around them at all. But it's obviously to stop public urination.
It's not civilised, Rob.
No, Alex. No. That is the end of we'll leave that story there. But I will reach out to Dave and just say how much we appreciated and enjoyed his journalism.
Yeah, and I think we should follow him. I think he's going to go. I think his star is going to go high, Rob. If that's a metaphor, star is going to go high. I think I just made that up.
I mean, I'm struggling to think what how to justify
the phrase.
The phrasing. We got what you were trying to say. Is what I'm trying.
What is the phrase though?
Is the stars in its ascendancy? Is that right? His cards are marked? No, that's not it, is it? No, that's something else.
No, that's very threatening. Why did you just threaten him? What the fuck? Sorry, listeners, and sorry to the journalist as well. You are in no way. You don't need to watch your back.
No.
Apart from when you're in a public toilet.
Yeah. Good point.
Okay, Rob. It is time for our listener story of the week. What have you got, and who is it from?
So it's from Khyber. Now, he's obviously been on my patch recently. We can't just keep featuring Khyber. Well, the trouble is, what we've got to say, listeners, is we just pick out, well, Rob picks out, I'll be fair, the best story of that week. So if it happens to be submitted by the same person for multiple weeks in a row, them's the breaks. But we do get a backlog, Rob, don't we? We do,
and we get constipated with listener stories. And we should do a listener story special. Maybe that should be our Christmas special. That's
a good idea, actually. Yeah, maybe we should do that. Yeah.
Shall we ask the listeners now? Send out now your Christmas-themed stories. You can tweet them, you can put it on Facebook, or you can email them to us at lapodcast.net@gmail.com. That's lapodcast.net@gmail.com, which I've forgotten to be saying at the end of the episode. I've just remembered that. I'm not actually telling people that.
I think listeners know where to go, Alex. It's fine. It's okay.
Okay.
So, look, this...
Thank you, Khyber.
As I said, he's obviously been on my spot because this is from the Stroud News and Journal.
Wow. Now, it's been a while since we've heard anything from that paper, Rob.
Yeah.
Oh, we used to love that paper.
It has been a while. So this is from the 3rd of December by James Felton. And the headline is, Siobhan Bailey hits out at poo left at the office. So
what do you mean hits out at poo?
So Siobhan Bailey is the local MP. And, look. So Stroud MP Siobhan Bailey has said that whoever left excrement on the doorstep of her constituency office will be pursued by the police.
Will they? Is it a crime? I mean, it is, but I think they've got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
It's funny, you've just gone from a story about, we've gone from Twix to public toilets to defecation outside of a did you say this is a constituency? Is this the MP?
Yes, there's the MP for Stroud, yeah.
MP for Stroud.
Yeah. So officers were called immediately after a member of Siobhan's staff picked up the carton of excrement with a name on it containing the excrement on Wednesday. Why have you put the word excrement twice in the same sentence? But it's definitely in there.
Sorry. Did you just say it was left in a carton?
Yes.
Did you say they shit in a carton, left it outside, and wrote on the side of the carton excrement?
It just has Siobhan written on the top. So
it was a carton with her name on it. So she opened.
Yes, yeah. It wasn't her. It was a member of the office staff. Thankfully,
shit in a box.
Yeah. Inside, along with the excrement, were the words, "If you don't clean up your shit, why should I?" Which I actually find quite funny.
If you don't clean up your what?
If you don't clean up your shit, why should I?
What shit?
I don't know, Alex. I'm assuming maybe there's something. Right. They've obviously taken some issue with the local area.
So, Rob, I don't know what's happening. Maybe I'm getting tired as we reach the end of the podcast. But did you just say that it wasn't intended for the MP? It was intended for somebody in their constituency office? No.
I said that it wasn't the MP who found it. It was a member of her staff.
Oh. That's a
but
shame.
It was intended for her. So it's difficult to understand the motivation of anyone who would leave a box of poo for another person to open, said Siobhan. It is disgusting. We're also in the middle of town. What would have happened if a child had picked it up instead? I have no idea what they hope to achieve other than to try and intimidate myself and my staff. It simply will not work. The police have been contacted.
We will not be cowed
by your poos in a box. I thank them for taking this seriously and investigating, including looking at CCTV. My staff should not have to deal with this. They are caseworkers helping local people with problems. Nobody deserves to find this stuff outside their workplace. An MP has been murdered in recent years, so we cannot ignore strange or nasty behaviour, which I do understand.
No, yeah.
I asked the good people to strive for help. Please have a look at the handwriting on the poo box. If anyone recognises it, call the police.
Was it scrawled in poo?
No. It was definitely scrawled in like a felt tip. The handwriting is very good, I have to say. It's very legible,
right?
Which in some ways makes it worse, actually. Siobhan added that this type of activity is self-defeating and will harm democracy.
Self-defecating, Rob.
Oh, very good, Alex. That's pretty much it. Though. I'll just see if there's not even any comments.
We normally end on the listener story, Rob, but as we have gone from Twix to public toilets to an MP having shit left outside a constituency office, can we move on to another MP who is also a shit? And can I just quickly end with a story about Iain Duncan Smith from the Manchester Evening News?
Sure.
Sir Iain Duncan Smith tells court of moment, I got a traffic cone slammed on my head in Manchester.
Brilliant.
A formative Conservative partner and, of course, the quiet man, leader Sir Iain Duncan Smith, feared for the safety of his wife. And can I say, Iain Duncan Smith, Rob, is such a narcissist that he has 2 I's in his first name.
Yeah, it's excessive, Alex.
It's a good joke. Well, because it's referring to I as in the self person. Anyway, doesn't matter. So he feared for the safety of his wife and her friend when he had a traffic cone, in quotes, slammed onto his head as they were followed by what he called a threatening group of protesters hurling abuse at him.
Right.
So Iain told a district judge how he was subjected to a cacophony of sound, in quotes, a banging drum, abuse and insults as he walked from the Midland Hotel to the Mercure Hotel in Manchester city centre. He should have stayed at the Britannia.
Yeah, it'd be a lot cheaper. Well, comparatively.
He was attending a Conservative Party conference with his wife, Betsy, and one of her friends. The Chingford and Woodford Green MP, which is where Rob used to live, 68, said he turned around after the cone was smacked down on his head and told the group, "You are pathetic," before his party went to the Mercure, where he was due to speak at a fringe meeting about Brexit and other matters. He said he felt the protesters were, in quotes, peculiarly threatening, and described how he was particularly concerned for the safety of his wife and her friend, Primrose. So Betsy and Primrose.
Right.
The politician said the protesters, in quote, frightened those with me and myself. He told the magistrate's court, "I have seen a lot of protests in the course of my time as a politician. I'm normally not overly concerned. People normally make their points, but not in a threatening way. This I felt was threatening. It's as simple as that." So Iain told the court, "It was threatening. It was abusive. My wife and her friend felt that particularly." The MP was giving the MP was giving evidence at the trial of Elliot Bovril, 32 of no fixed abode. Yeah. Who denied? Oh, I'd love that. Bovril is on trial with Radical Haslam, 29 of Douglas Street. Sorry, his name is Radical Haslam. He must have changed that, but it's a brilliant name.
I was about to say, that can't be his real name.
And Ruth Wood, 52, from Oak Tree Avenue, Cambridge. You both deny using threatening, abusive or insulting words or behaviour. Sir Iain gave his evidence in the small modern courtroom wearing a dark suit, Rob, over a white shirt with a Brigade of Guards tie.
Sorry.
He was sporting a poppy on his lapel alongside a ribbon in support of Ukraine.
Did you say Sir Iain?
Yes.
Sorry.
How could he not be a Sir, Rob?
Sorry, Iain Duncan Smith is a
former
Sir.
Prime Minister. I thought if you were Prime Minister, doesn't that just...
he wasn't Prime Minister.
Party leader.
No. Yeah.
Rob, he's deserving of that, surely. He's a fine man.
No, Alex, the only thing he deserves is a traffic cone being put on his head. That's exactly what he deserves.
Well, the court, Rob, was shown CCTV footage of the moment the cone was put on Sir Iain's head. The former cabinet minister described the moment he got a traffic cone slammed onto my head. He said, "I got 3/4 of the way across the road. I felt this blow on the back of my head and neck. I could feel something going. I could feel something going onto it, which knocked my head forward." Sir Iain said he took the cone off his head and turned around. He told the court, "I didn't know who had done it. You are pathetic," I said. I dropped the cone. Sir Iain said it'd been smacked down on my head quite hard. They're proper traffic cones and have to weigh a certain amount. The trial continues. They haven't allowed comments on this story.
Probably for the best.
Cone but not forgotten, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sir Iain Duncan Smith. So we bring this episode of Local Anaesthetic Podcast, episode 376, to a juddering halt. And thank you very much for listening, everybody. We're on our website, LAPodcast.net. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/LAPodcast. We're on Twitter @LAPodcast. If you want to submit a story, you can email it to us, LAPodcast.net@gmail.com. We're on Spotify. We're on all these great places. But most importantly, listeners, if you've loved listening to this episode, then straight away, you can become a Patreon member if you're not already. You go to Patreon, patreon.com/LAPodcast Extra. And from there, you will now see, ignore the £2 tier. That's going to be disbanded and removed. You can sign up right now to the £1 tier. You can pay what you want. If you want to contribute more and help keep this podcast afloat, we'd really appreciate it. But sign up, because the LA Podcast and Extra Jab episodes, Rob, I mean, if you look at the canon of episodes, I would say that many already in our top 10 episodes are already out of that batch of 35. They're brilliant.
Yeah.
So get on there and listen now. God bless.
And keep it local.
Local Anaesthetic Podcast is on Patreon, so go to patreon.com/LAPodcast Extra for access to our exclusive bonus episodes. You won't find them anywhere else. Here's a preview of what's coming up on the next LA Podcast, An Extra Jab. Man arrested for calling police 2,060 times in 9 days to yell at them.
Sorry.
A total of 2,060 calls were made. That worked out, from this one man, Rob, to be an average of one call every 6 minutes and resulted in over 27 hours spent on the line with the police.
Conwy councillor apologising for posting picture of far-right terrorist. A Colwyn Bay town council has apologised for posting a picture of a Norwegian mass murderer in a promotional post on Twitter.
So what the fuck was the promotion for?
It was a £1 meal deal for the over 60s at Asda.
What? So what? How did they get... So, can I say it's anything more depressing in the state of Britain at the moment than that promotion from Asda? Soup, bread roll and butter and unlimited hot drinks. Actually, it's not bad for £1.
Monks in Thailand Buddhist temple failed drug test, turn out to be meth addicts.
Oh, I always wondered, you think they're up there living this highfalutin spiritual lifestyle, but really, Rob, they're no better than any of us. Worse.
Off their tits, Alex, all of them.
Jesus told her to open the plane door. A woman flying from Houston bit someone on flight in effort to open plane door at 37,000 feet. The 34-year-old walked to the back of the plane where she stared at the exit door. Well, that's quite a harrowing image. It's quite a suggestive image, just staring at the exit door of a plane. I think we all feel like that at the moment, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely, Alex. Yeah, to bring down not only yourself but a plane load of other passengers.